you've invested in SPACs before, so I'm going to ask you some questions. So first, like I know you've invested in a number of SPAC deals. Is there like one that you'd like to highlight or a few that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, so let's talk about whether I made money or not. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. I'm holding some still. So, but yes, I actually love investing in SPACs. It's kind
Really?
of fun to me. Yeah,
Okay.
it really is. I don't know if it's the hunt part of it or a little bit of the not knowing, like you're buying into a company or you're really buying into the management team and you're expecting, okay, these are experts. I stand by the investor, the investing company, the sponsors. I know that they know what they're doing in a given space, say in biotech or in electric vehicles or in, fintech or something like that. So anyway, I buy mostly based on the management team.
Okay.
But also on certain industries that I really am kind of into. So one that I bought was Atlas, and it's called Atlas Crest Investment Corporation. Ticker symbol is ACIC. And it's really a SPAC that's already found its target company. So Atlas is slated to merge in the second quarter of 2021 with a firm called Archer.
Okay.
And Archer is an urban air mobility company. Now that sounds crazy. Urban air mobility, what is that? Some hood stuff up in here. I don't know.
Like,
Urban, what is that?
drones, like air mobility. What is this?
It's air taxis. I mean, like, all the movies we've seen, and you think that in the future there's gonna be like flying air taxis. I totally believe. I already know that's coming, and in China and other places.
So
they're
you're
like,
already investing in
yes,
air taxis.
yes, I'm already there. So, but
Okay.
listen, I like the idea of kind of getting in on something that is kind of like, a little bit future and forward thinking, has a technology angle to it. But this company is actually a startup, but that's doing very well. So they already have, for example, a $1 billion deal, a contract with United Airlines.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they have the option for that contract to be extended to $1.5 billion. They have air taxis, basically, that can go like 150 miles an hour, that can go 60 miles. And so airline companies like United are like, let's get some of these crafts, let's develop and order some of these so that we can take people from the airport to different spots. Because you know how some airports have different regional differences. Like where I used to live, New York, New Jersey area, there's 3 airports, from LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. So, but what if you're like, I need to get to Long Island, or I need to get to, the suburbs of New Jersey or something. So in any event, these air taxis are going to be able to hop and go for, 50, 60 miles or so. And I'm sure they're going to be charging people a pretty penny.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, this is a SPAC that's right now trading around $10, so people can still get in there. But it's just something that, I don't know, I kind of thought it was one of the fun ones, and I'm in it,
And this, wait, and just so I'm clear, because I'm also wanting to make sure I get this. We're making it make sense.
Yes.
So the goal would be you have it at $10. Eventually, it'll go to about $15, and then you would sell it, right?
So okay, here's the tricky part.
I
So
see
what
the
had happened
smile,
was,
right?
so what had happened was, so the goal isn't to just make it go to 15 or some, or just some, I know you just use that hypothetically. But it's almost like you have to pick your spot and your entry point. And this is something that I know you'll identify with when it comes to SPAC investing, because you really have a lot of stages. As I mentioned, there's 4 stages of the SPAC life cycle. And so some people just want to get in like at the $10 when it IPOs, okay, initially, so they know the price point is going to be $10, and they're just waiting for the deal to be announced. So as soon as the
That would
deal is
probably be
announced,
me.
that would be you, yeah. You'd be
I'd
like,
be
I'm
like,
trading,
oh, okay,
I'm
is that-
out, I'm
okay,
out,
oh,
I'm out,
God.
yeah. I know, and I'm sitting up there, I'm going to hold, I'm going to keep these profits, I'm going to keep this in the future,
You're like, until
So-
there actually are air taxis.
Exactly. Until I see some flying air taxis. So I'll tell you about one next that's a little more immediate.
Okay,
But so you certainly can trade and get your profits. So right after the deal is announced. And again, they have up until 18 to 24 to consummate a deal and to complete that merger, et cetera. A lot of times they don't even take that long. So it depends. Some of them, because they're being aggressive and looking for different targets to buy, a deal might be announced in a month, 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
I think it's really common to be around 6 months, 6 to 12 months, kind of at the longest, when they actually say, here's what we're buying, here's the company that we're buying.
I feel like if you're about to start a SPAC, you probably have something in your head
Oh,
already.
absolutely. And a lot of people say they know good and well. The public thing that they say is, oh, we don't know. We're in the industry. We're looking in all sectors. They always say that. We're like you've done your due diligence.
Before you even started this, you were like, and when I start, I'm going to buy you.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing a side little deal. They're not supposed to now. They're not supposed to like work it out before. But yeah, you know. So
maybe that would just be our SPAC. When we do
exactly.
SPAC,
when we do a SPAC,
ahead of
we
time.
Gonna know.
Right.
We won't say it publicly, but you know, we'll follow SEC guidelines.
Right.
And,
exactly.
not that there are many for SPACs. That's one of the appeals, I suppose. But Capital Investment Corp is another one. Capital Investment Corp V or 5, CAP is their ticker symbol, and this company is merging with a real estate title company called DOMA.
Okay.
And the reason I like this one is, for one, I'm also a real estate investor.
Yes.
And I know a lot of the pain points in real estate. I feel like so much of the system is antiquated and old and outdated, and it takes forever, and it's all this paperwork. And I'm like, can y'all just speed this up already?
Please.
You know? So what happens is this SPAC is basically betting, and I'm betting along with them, that having digital offerings and services that can speed up the closing process, especially with regard to the title work, et cetera, is going to be a great thing for the mortgage industry. Okay. And I agree. Again, as somebody who has properties and has mortgages and do all of that, I'm like, please do something to make it, you know.
Make it go faster.
Make it go faster, yeah.
Right.
So, and then another one that I have is Desktop Metal.
Okay.
So ticker symbol is DM. I actually bought this one after it was de-SPACed. I knew what the company was. So I knew it was a 3D.
Me. I'm like waiting. I'm like, oh goodness, what happened? Okay, no. Go ahead.
Let me see where Desktop Metal. It's already been it's out there in the universe, right? And no, it's somebody can get in and actually make some decent money on this one. So Desktop Metal right now is trading at just under $15 a share.
Okay, and so, you probably got in around 10.
Yeah. So it works. Yes. Oh, okay. But listen, the 3D space, I'm a big believer. So this is another thing. I tend to invest in sectors. I'll like go in and I'll buy like the top 4 or 5 names in a given industry. And this one happened to be a SPAC in that sector. So I was interested in it, and yes, it's still doing fine. But honestly, you said, oh, so you make some money. Great. If I had sold earlier, because like 2 months ago, it was, you're going to kill me for this, because you're going to be like, girl, you should have traded it. You should have traded it. About 2 months ago, it was about $30 a share. I'm really serious. A lot of 3D stocks fell out of favor the last 2 months or so.
Wait, pause.
You're gonna say, did you not take anything off the table?
I'm gonna say that's a 200% return on your investment.
I know.
And you decided I'm gonna wait.
I'm just wait.
Until what? Jesus comes back.
Until Jesus himself. No, I will say, because I own multiple companies that are in the 3D space, like Stratasys. It's not a SPAC, but I own Stratasys. I love this company. I got in at like 16, and I sold when it was at maybe like 35 or 40.
Okay.
I still own shares of Stratasys.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I had a significant gain with them. So I do, but some of the 3D stocks, I was like, I'm keeping it. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. And but I believe in it. Can I just tell quickly, because I know you're like, girl, you should have taken some of your profits. So in the course of this series, you guys, as we're talking about investing, you're probably gonna see that Teri gets in and out of the market. And see,
I
this
do.
is why Teri is the multimillionaire,
It's true.
7 and 10 and 20 times over. And I'm just in that little low 7-figure category. I'm talking about,
But
the
we
long
still making
term.
money over
I'm talking
here.
about
This
the
is
long
good.
term. See, I'm old school. I got to change my mindset and kind of get with the times. But
I'm listening. I'm ready.
But okay, so overall, this is what I just wanted to say about sectors and about the 3D sector,
Okay.
for example, as a whole. We just came out of mostly COVID-19, the pandemic. We had a huge supply chain disruption. We had manufacturing that ground to a halt and to a standstill. People were like, oh my God, we don't even have PPE, personal protective equipment. We don't have so much of the stuff that we were ordering from China and from, different countries.
Yeah.
We need to start manufacturing stuff here in the United States. Well, manufacturing here in the United States is old and broken and inefficient.
And expensive.
And expensive.
Yeah.
For all these plants and all of these factories, etc. So there's the new wave of manufacturing, which is called additive manufacturing or 3D printing. So with traditional
I just
manufacturing,
saw it on Grey's Anatomy. They
Oh, you
were
did?
3D printing something.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. But go ahead.
So no, I'm just, so I'm trying to break it down and make it make sense here. Look, with traditional manufacturing, you're making something out of something. Like, let's say this pretty shirt that you have on. They took a big old piece of fabric like that, and then they cut it out and got down to the specific parts that they wanted. Or, it was a necklace or a car, and they took the steel and the sheet or the, concrete or any tool, and then they carved it out, but they started from something bigger and went down. Well, 3D printing works the opposite way. It's layering things and it's additive. So instead of reducing it and going down, it's going up a little bit at a time with these very sophisticated printers that can make anything. So, 3D printers now can make houses, they can make cars, they can make
cool.
clothes, they can make artwork. But the thing that I see it best used for is for manufacturing of parts and equipment and actual real life consumer products and things that people need. So instead of having to wait for a shipment 6 weeks away in China, you could have 3D printing where somebody is able to very quickly, like in an hour, print up, 10,000 masks if necessary.
That would be awesome.
They're doing it.
Awesome.
They literally are already doing it. So you have some companies that are disrupting the manufacturing category as 3D printers because we don't have to worry about just-in-time delivery and, shipping costs from, overseas and wait time and all of that. 3D printing is the new era of manufacturing. And that's the bottom line. So anyway, and I'm not the only one who thinks so.
Moral of the story is this is why Lynnette had a 200,000% return and did not sell her stock. Because 3D printing is the future.
And because, I took some profits out of some of my 3D printing stocks, but not out of that SPAC. So, however, I hear you on that. And hey, you can teach an old dog new tricks. And yeah, did I just call myself an old dog?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Young. I don't even want to say
I
dog.
don't know.
We need a new slogan.
You're millennial. I'm Gen X, so I don't know if it counts, but whatever.
We can teach new tricks. That's the goal.
So, all right, let's move on here. Now that Teri has chastised me for not taking my profits.
You see, okay, wait. We gotta pause real quick. But do you see how passionate she was about the 3D printing? So here's the thing. Like when you're an investor, a long-term investor, you need that kind of passion because you have to believe in it for the long term. When you're a trader, you have to be careful when you have so much loyalty to just one stock because that loyalty will make you hold on to something past when you should be selling it. So like that's kind of the difference. I hope that you guys go through this series of Make It Make Sense. You'll see that just you have to also know what type of investor you are.
That's
and that
right.
will help you to really figure out your plan.
And that's a great tool in the arsenal, you know, as an investor. And that's why Teri and I said, when we wanted to do this series, Make It Make Sense, we were like, we don't have to agree on everything. We want to show you different strategies and different points of view. But also we want you to know the gamut, kind of like all the different options that are available to you. And honestly, I kid her all the time and I say this, but I'm for real, like wanting to be more like Teri's strategy in terms of doing more day and or swing trading when it comes to investing, because I totally get it and I believe in it and I've done it too, but not to the same extent to make that the majority of my investing strategy. But I totally get it, that take some profits off the table. Like Tesla, we were talking about this before.
Yes.
So again, not a SPAC, but just, I was like, okay, let me get into Tesla. And I felt like I was kind of late to the party, but I made a great, 25,000 plus in a very short amount of time investing in Tesla. I took my profits, I locked them in, and I just got out of there. So that was a trade.
She was gonna just keep it. She was like, but I don't mind losing. And I was like, no, you gotta put a stop in there. Like if it comes down, at least you can protect yourself. And she's like, but I don't mind. I want to keep it forever. I was like, but that's not the point.
Trade, like take your profit now, come back to it later. You know. So
And I do want to say too, like when Lynnette says that she's thinking about doing more of like short-term trading, I also like I want to be more like you too. Like I'm so tunnel vision and focused on trading that I don't get to see all the other things. Like I don't know what it is to invest in a SPAC. I never tried it. Like there's so many other things like a NFT and all these words we hear. Like I'm so like
non-fungible tokens.
So that's another thing. We have to do another episode.
That would be a whole nother thing. But just for those who might say NFT, what? So a non-fungible token is a digital asset that kind of represents something in the real world, but that's virtual, that you have unique ownership of. So it's usually done for things like art or sports or experiences, music, anything creative that can be kind of captured in digital format. Somebody can buy it. Somebody can exploit it as the artist and as the creator. I'm going to create an NFT. I'm trying to think of like all the content that I have and all the stuff. I'm going to create a special moment. I'm going to show like the moment my book hit the New York Times bestseller list. I don't know, for somebody, anybody who was inspired.
$30 million.
Whatever, whoever's willing to buy it, I don't care, So anyway, Teri actually does have a great course for active investors, for those of you who are wanting to trade. It's called Trade and Travel. So if you're not a very experienced investor, I really would recommend that you check it out, because you'll get so many takeaways, like how to pick good companies, how to protect your portfolio, and how to read stock charts. And all of that can help you with your SPAC investing too.
It has been a great time talking, and I hope that we made this make sense, guys.